Hello once again and for the last time for today, and welcome to the Battle of Central Europe Season 3. It's going to be the third deciding game, Power Rangers versus Drak. It's been kind of a roller coaster. I mean, Drak took a pretty damn convincing game number 2, whereas Power Rangers, after a slightly rocky start, still a convincing win in game number 1 as well. So we'll see what game number 3 will bring to us, but we're HeflaTV, your English coverage. I am Counter, once again, joined by Mike Lores. And do you think we're going to see some more Pudge, or was it just like a one-time trick to just catch the enemy off guard?
I think it was a one-time trick. That being said, I'm sure Drak have more tricks that they can use. So, though it may not necessarily be a Pudge, it may be something else that is just as fun. And I can only hope so, because it's not every day we get to see a Pudge, and it's also not every day we get to see a Pudge win. So, that's a nice treat for sure. But when Power Rangers, they were definitely caught off guard by it. Also went for something that I feel like they're probably just not as comfortable with. The Beastmaster Tinker is probably something they don't practice every day just because of the limited viability of those heroes. But regardless, maybe if both teams go for a very safe draft, we're going to be seeing a game like game number 1. But I think Drak will benefit a lot more if they go for something a little bit out of the ordinary.
Oh, whoa, we had a... Can we remake, please? Okay, we're gonna have a remake. I didn't then check it out straight away, but we're remaking. Yes. Fun times, fun times.
Yeah,
So somebody was, I don't know if it was AFK or something. I didn't even read it all the way through. I just wanted to get the lobby up as fast as possible, but it was something about somebody's captain being retarded.
Yeah, well, sometimes that happens. There's also no notification for when people
Disconnect.
or yeah, people disconnect or say anything in the chat. So it's a good thing you are actually checking that.
It's just, if the first ban is taking up until like 40 seconds of your reserve time, most of the time something is wrong. Although sometimes it actually happens and people are just really thinking things through. But here we are. It's rehosted and Skype is just slow. It's like they wanted us to rehost. I was like, what the fuck are you on about? There are 2 different groups on Skype for this. So on one group they wanted to remake, but it didn't update. So in the other group they were just talking about something. I was like, what? We're in the game already? What's wrong, guys?
I don't really know why there's 2 groups. I feel like they're pretty much interchangeable.
They most more or less are, but... Well, one is for the casters and admins, the second is for the teams, man. Got to keep it separated. Who's the upper class, though?
Are we different class systems now?
I don't know. Well, we're in both of them, so...
Yeah, so we're in like both
we're
classes.
Mudbloods. I don't know. Okay.
That means when there's a class riot, we're going to be on neither side. We're going to be the ones
pretty much we're going to get wrecked by both sides because both thinks we are traitors and we're on the other side.
Yeah, so we're screwed, man. We gotta choose sides right now.
I'm gonna go with just... I guess we're gonna have to make our own side. I went to the army, man. I know how to fight. I know how to shoot people.
Okay, well I don't, so it's all on you then.
Okay, so we're gonna get it started. Fingers crossed that nothing is wrong this time around, like who has first pick and whatnot. I don't think it's gonna be wrong, but we'll see. Everybody looks to be not disconnecting, but connecting in. Oh god. So, last game of the day. If you're wondering, if you just tuned in, Drak versus Power Rangers. Game 3 of this 3-game series for the Battle of Central Europe Season 3. So, I'm not gonna open the chat immediately. As Brewmaster gets banned, so they're here this time. And IO, Drak, they're not just gonna make the mistake. They made it once, and that was enough.
Yeah, so it's once again Drak reading Power Rangers and making the appropriate bans. This is going to let a couple more powerful heroes slip through the pool, and well, this time we're not going to forget about the Death Prophet. We're going to keep our eyes out for her because we have not seen her just yet, and I don't think she's going to be banned out right now. Though the first pick, Death Prophet, is certainly very strong. I think it's more likely that Power Rangers go for something like a Tidehunter.
Well, Tidehunter has been on the winning side for both games, I do believe. Death Prophet also gets banned now, so Power Rangers, if they want to, first pick Tidehunter could come out for them. I guess you can go for something like an Ogre maybe, and nope, it's the Tidehunter, so it is really just that strong of a hero, especially if Razor, Brewmaster, and the Death Prophet are banned.
Right, so what a surprise. We got Tidehunter first pick for Power Rangers. Once again, very safe. They could go in any direction with this. For Drak Japar, I mean, okay, Ogre Magi Viper, also extremely safe. So, yeah, nothing too surprising just yet until second pick Necrophos. It worked out very well in game number 1, but this is picking the hero very, very highly.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad hero for sure. It can work out wonders, but will it is another question, and it really depends on how they're going to lane this as well. It might be just mid Necrophos, something like that, although if it should be up against the Viper, not too sure how good of a time he will have. Although, I have seen a mid lane Necrophos just completely own a Death Prophet, for example, which I didn't really know how to expect. But he went to max out that Heartstopper Aura first. So it can be annoying because you're always going to be in the vicinity of the Heartstopper Aura if you're in the mid lane, or, well, if you're on any lane and want to farm, I guess. But next set of bans, Ancient Apparition and Skyriff Mage by Power Rangers. Puck banned out by Drak themselves. Of course, Ancient Apparition, just you want to have your Death Pulse to actually heal as well, not only do damage. So it's good in that way, but all in all, Ancient Apparition is annoying.
And yeah, maybe Power Rangers are going to look to take this one a little bit more aggressively, make a pseudo Death Ball come together. Jakiro might be a pickup for them that they want to go for. Drak Japar, they have like the easiest way to deal with Necrophos is just kill him in lane over and over again. Ogre Magi certainly a great hero at doing that. Viper, if they do match up, is also a good hero at that. So, Drak Japar, they're pretty well off already versus Necrophos. Now with the Dazzle, it's going to be really hard to get those scythe kills.
Unless it's on the Dazzle himself. So Dazzle, he might have just painted a target on himself. Of course, even if Dazzle does go down to Reaper Scythe, Drak, they should be probably fine with this. I mean, it's a support. They're using the Reaper Scythe on in that case. And Witch Doctor comes out for Power Rangers, so even though they won't have the IO, they will still have a pretty nice amount of heal with the Death Pulse as well as the Voodoo Restoration. Of course, Drak will have the heal from the Shadow Wave as well. So we might just see really long, just sustained fights.
And yeah, now the Ancient Apparition ban is really going to be hurting for Drak Japar. They don't have the most burst damage. Ogre Magi multicast is certainly pretty high, but Dazzle is relatively lax as far as the damage he could put into those engagements. So they need to pick up the damage with their other two cores, and maybe it's just going to be another game like game number 1 where we just have a whole bunch of heroes just chilling and farming up, but well, Doom is going to be the pick for Drak Japar. So now they have a good answer versus Necrophos, but even though they may be able to cut off the death pulses occasionally, he's still not going to take the most damage in this.
So in the first game we saw Necrophos on the side of Drak. Power Rangers went for the Doom. Of course they had more heroes who definitely wanted to get Doom. Tidehunter, never mind, Tidehunter wasn't one of them. It was Necrophos, Timbersaw, plus Ember Spirit, okay. But now Drak, they're the ones to wield the Doom against that Necrophos or the Tide. So the tables have turned, at least for that small matchup, mini matchup within matchups. But Power Rangers, they do need one additional support as well as a mid or safe laner depending on how they want to run the Necrophos. And they go for an Enigma, and it might not even get punished because Drak, I guess they can go for aggressive try with something like a Viper being the core there. But I somehow feel that this Enigma won't even get punished heavily.
Yeah, I'm getting the same vibe as well, and it's going to let them push a little bit earlier. Their Death Ball, it's not really coming together just yet. Again, I think a Jakiro would kind of fit into their lineup if they did want to go for that particular strategy. But they do have a good amount of team fight. Like, Black Hole and Ravage is enough to almost guarantee you wins. And if you land one of those skills on Dazzle, then after someone gets hit with the Ravage, usually Necrophos is going to be able to scythe them straight afterwards. So it's a good combo for sure from Power Rangers. Maybe a Silencer for Drak Japar is looking pretty appealing here.
It actually wouldn't be a bad choice at all. I mean, Silencer can be pretty useful. Of course, I was thinking that maybe a core Jakiro wouldn't be even too bad for themselves. Although Doom might be a little bit too slow. With the Jakiro, you can push rather early on. If they did go for the Jakiro, they would just be able to fight rather early and maybe try to break high ground and just get buildings as well. Because like in last game at the moment, they don't have the heaviest of push at all. Pack Leader's Aura on Doombringer defeats that Alpha Wolf is going to be nice, but that's about all. But they ban out a Zeus, so, well, I guess like any kind of burst damage in conjunction with the Necrophos is going to be nice just because you can bring heroes so low, and even if you build up extremely tanky, Necrophos's ultimate is excellent against tanky heroes, and so is the static field of the Zeus, so maybe that's why they banned it out.
Yeah. I mean, Jack they have the good answers to burst damage, like just being tanky, having the Viper corrosive is going to be great, and having the Dazzle heal is going to be great as well. So I could kind of understand the Zeus ban, but really, if you're scared about burst, there are always going to be heroes that are able to burst you down. Zeus may or may not be the best one at it, but if Power Rangers really wanted to just prioritize damage above all else, then you can't really stop them from doing so. Venge is going to be the last ban out from the Power Rangers side. Expecting, I guess, a core Vengeful, or maybe expecting to pick up a Bat Rider last for themselves, but even then, Jagjapar don't really think they would have gone for a Venge in this case. They need more damage, and Venge is kind of light on damage.
Well, I guess Vengeance Horror, maybe they're afraid of it. Maybe they're core Dazzle maybe coming out, something like that, to make sure that he can provide the heals in the shallow graves if necessary and just doesn't fall over when they initiate on him. I guess they don't want the Enigma to get swapped out of the black hole if they already have the Doom as well there. And apart, I guess they won't have too many counters to the Enigma unless they want to go for something like a Disruptor, but if they do, they might find themselves just really weak come the later stages of the game. But what do Drak go for? Do they go for just something like a Phantom Assassin that can just crit people up, or... I have no idea what they should or will go for.
I mean, I'm still going to stick to Core Silencer looking pretty good right now, but maybe it's just not going to be appealing enough since he is so vulnerable to just sheer burst damage of Power Rangers. If you mess up your Global Silence once, all of a sudden you're just completely screwed. So maybe that's not going to be the most appealing. Maybe they're just going to go for a safe carry pickup, although really getting any sort of big carry against Necrophos is not the best.
Or the biggest carry of them all.
Do it again? Yeah. Game number 2 repeat. Do-over, guys.
This time around, they're going to have the heal as well to keep the Pudge alive. Oh, never mind, they had the Witch Doctor last game, I do believe, so I guess it's going to be similar. But Power Rangers going for a Lone Druid. I guess it's nice because the Lone Druid might have his spare just tank up the meat hooks. And gives them some extra pushing power. A tanky hero as well that just doesn't go down. Plus, of course, as a core, you really don't care about Doom at all, like in the slightest.
Yeah, you're not going to Doom the Bear. That's not going to happen. They actually... Power Rangers have landed on a lot of pushing. Like, they have the Bear as well as the Eidolons from the Enigma to actually do the damage, plus Witch Doctor Necrophos in order to sustain them. It's not the highest of pushing. I mean, it's not like they have a Chen, it's not like they have a Juggernaut heal, but they have enough. And Jagjapar, they have not much clearing. They have, like, Ignite is their only AoE skill, like, in this game, so... It's going to be up to Jagjapar to get solo kills, or get kills and pickoffs all day long. And what we saw 8 Mothers Pudge last game, it is certainly very possible for them to be successful. Because if they are not successful, then I think just a grouped up push from Power Rangers can straight out end this game.
It's going to be extremely hard, of course. If you do go for that group up and push style, you might just get hooked if you're Power Rangers and then lose one and suddenly have to keep up the push. But we'll see. And to introduce the lineups for the last game of the series, the last game of the evening as well at the same time. Ape Mother playing the Punch, Living Seal Kit on the Dazzle. Is it going to be a dual offlane? We shall see. Probably Hanscan will be joining them on the Ogre Magi. Living Vern to head towards the mid lane on the Doombringer, gonna go rush the bottle. And Cat playing that Viper for the safe lane.
And for the Power Rangers, we have Cheshire Cat once again handling that Tidehunter double ring of protection to start off with. Soneko is going to be playing the Witch Doctor with Ditchira on the Necrophos. Shachto is going to be playing the Lone Druid, and that leaves J4 as the Enigma. I expect to be going towards the jungle. And just real quick, guys, winner of this is going to go face up against Bulo in round 2, whereas loser goes to loser's bracket and facing up against, I have no idea.
Bulo, they did come from the qualifiers and managed to get the first seed from their group. Just extremely well done. Of course, I think that was the group where a lot of games were just kind of forfeited because Virtus.pro had to travel to Dream League to Sweden. So maybe it doesn't show as much, but they're still a pretty damn strong team. I do believe they had like Stylianer and just more kind of known Russian players there. So, here we are paused. Who even paused? It was the Tidehunter, so some issues. But Tidehunter starting with double ring of protection. I've seen Jakiro offlanes go for that, but I don't think I've ever seen Tidehunter start with these items.
I've seen it a couple of times, and if you expect to be poked down a lot, then it makes a lot of sense. So if he knew that the matchup was going to be against Viper, then this is actually a pretty good start. And hey, look at that. It is going to be up against a Viper. So the Tidehunter is pretty well equipped to deal with this lane already. One is probably going to be going towards Tranquils, but the other one, usually, it's going to be going towards Ring of Basilius. I don't think Tidehunter is going to be going for that. So maybe it's just him. I mean, 9 armor start is pretty good. It works for Ogre Magi, right?
Got them 9. That's ridiculous. I mean, he's still gonna be harassed by the poison attack, I guess. But wow, that's a crazy amount. He can just, if he goes for Kraken Shell as well, he's probably not gonna take too much damage at all. But we'll see how they do decide to lane this by the end of it. Enigma most likely will just deny one creep from the offlane just to make it a little bit easier. But I can't say I'm overly surprised by Drak going for an aggressive tri-lane just because Enigma being in the jungle, going up against only 2 heroes. And it's going to be Necrophos and Witch Doctor. I mean, it's not too bad for them. As long as they can avoid getting hooked, they're going to be fine. But that's the hardest part.
They have 2 ranged heroes, but that's exactly what we saw with the last game, where the tri-lane, the aggressive tri-lane from Drak included that Pudge, and I mean, they didn't give a damn about the enemy heroes. They were just going in constantly. And this time they actually have a play stun. Like Hanskin with the Fire Blast into a hook is definitely a lot more feasible. The difference between this game and last is that, well, it's 12 seconds until the creeps pop out, and there's still no first blood. So there is that to consider, that Drak are not starting off at the most amazing start. But I even think that right now they have probably a little bit more kill potential. Last time it was, like, what, Disruptor as part of the lane, and who was the other one? I don't even remember.
Disruptor, Witch Doctor, Pudge.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot more dangerous, I think. Just Ogre Magi Pudge as far as getting close to someone and beating them down.
So, we do get this game underway. The Spirit Bear is... Well, to be honest, the Spirit Bear looks pretty nice. Plus, it changes colors when it's too far away from his master. Bounty Rune activated by the Spirit Bear as well, Hanskin. Didn't even probably focus at getting the rune at all. Just tried to smack down the Spirit Bear as well as it could. But Pudge is going to be in the mid lane. And we're heading towards that top lane instead. Has his Stout Shield as well. So Pudge versus a Lone Druid. Lone Druid should have a pretty good time here, to be honest. Should be able to harass Ape Mother quite heavily, and... Well, he starts with it already.
So it's going to just be a Pudge on the mid lane. Right now, Hanskin, well, he does have boots first, and he's actually going to be joined by Doom in this offensive tri-lane after all. I think Pudge is a lot stronger in this scenario, but no matter what happens, you're going to have a weaker mid lane, so... I don't really know if I agree with this one. I think Doom can get enough on the bottom lane, or on the mid lane rather, and Pudge can do a lot better on top, so you might as well make that switch, but we'll see if it works out in the end. It is still a 3 versus 2 lane, but this is not the type of tri-lane that could absolutely crush a dual lane, and tri-lanes should be beating dual lanes most of the time.
Yeah, and if they're not, that just means that Power Rangers, they're getting a reasonable amount of XP from that lane. Maybe not the most amount of just last hits and farm, but J4 will make more than up for that on the Enigma unless he just gets interrupted. And Hanskin looks like he's already going to go for some of it. He's going to go for the Enigma, and early on Enigma, he's not going to drop too low on HP, at least not most of the time. Hanskin, if he can just block a few creep camps, kill a few Eidolons. Eidolons are pretty damn weak early on the level 1. So J4, he's already making his way to the enemy jungle, but if he does, he's going to be spotted out by an observer ward. Mid lane though, Hanskin comes in, he's going to get the slow, the ignite is there. Ape Mother with that rot as well, although he's taking quite a lot of damage himself as well. J4 comes in, no stuns, but he gets hooked. Oh no, can they get the first blood? Yes, they can. Rot, not quite enough damage to get that self-deny. So that gank just went sour.
Man, you don't expect an Enigma to be there. Like, if I turn around for that hook, which I'm pretty sure any player would have done, like, shit, you expect to get the Lone Druid there, so can't really blame Ape Mother for that, but just getting one too many hits from the bear before the gank actually started ended up being really bad for Ape Mother. Like, he's only a only a 1 armor hero, Pudge, typically does run pretty low on that value, so the slow chip damage before that gank started and the fact that Lone Druid's bear was attacking all the while, plus conveniently had the Enigma in the area, all of these things just making it so much easier for the Lone Druid to stand and fight. And, well, now Enigma, he's going to move into the enemy jungle, which is going to be equally hard, I suppose. Hanskin, really, no matter where J4 goes, is going to be following him, but Ogre Magi cannot run into this. Like, even though he is there, he will not be able to do much against a double damage Enigma.
The courier just came through the enemy jungle, a walking one. That's just so damn crazy and so risky as well at the same time. Didn't get punished though, so all is fine. It's a horse, he's fast. So everybody keeps on farming up. Enigma not going to get off to the fastest of start, but level 3, 3 minutes in. Not too shabby as well. Better than most supports usually are. And this at the moment is going to mean that Vern and Sealkit are in a dual lane and they're up against 3 ranged heroes. So they're actually at a disadvantage. Doom has been unable to find himself a good aura just to eat from the jungle, just because this Observer Ward by the dire side also blocks off the big camp. So really nice Observer Ward coming out. And Vern now, Paralyzing Cask is there, gonna bounce through, perfect timing with that. Death Pulse as well, I don't think it's gonna still be enough. But yeah, he has the Scorch there, forced to pop it, even the Shallow Grave is there from Sealkid. So this being a dual lane with Ogre Magi leaving it might just hurt them a little bit too much even.
Yeah, at this point, the dual lane for Power Rangers is almost strictly better than the dual lane of Drak Japar, as Sealkid has very limited offensive capabilities, if at all, and Witch Doctor doesn't have that much either, but he certainly has a lot more. And Necrophos versus Doom, I mean, if they get into a fist fight, Doom is certainly going to come out on top, but the Necrophos is never going to make that happen. So the boots on Necrophos is going to keep him safe, and now that there's an Ogre Magi on the lane, there is a chance that Drak Japar can make something happen, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. They actually are switching up the Pudge and the Doom, although it might be too late. I mean, the Doom already had to base once, the Pudge already died once. It is still possible to land hook after hook after hook. It does a crap ton of damage, but I think if they started out with this, they would have just been leaps and bounds ahead of where they are right now.
Completely agree with you there. And not only that, looking at the bottom lane as well, Cat, he is sitting at 15 and 2 compared to a 23 and 6 Cheshire Cat Tidehunter. So Tidehunter is doing extremely well. Paralyzing Cat's going to bounce a couple of times. Of course, they cannot follow up with the kill, but they have a level 2 Heartstopper Aura. So at some point, they're just not going to have enough regen. Ogre Magi even went for the Ring of Regen, so Tranquil Boots probably coming out. Or just that Soul Ring at some point. But their Tangos aren't going to do anything, or, well, they're going to do something, but they're only going to delay them just getting pushed out of the lane. And Ape Mother, he's dropping solo. A Paralyzing Cask is going to come out. Will it bounce back to the Ape Mother? It does, and, wow, the Death Pulse almost brought him down, but Fire Blast makes it so the Tichara can follow up. Ape Mother, though, thank God he had that one last healing salve.
And we're talking about Drak Japar just surviving this tri-lane scenario, but really in a tri-lane scenario like this, you should be completely dominating the Power Rangers, and we should be talking about how is Dichira going to survive, how are Sneeko going to live through these ganks, but there's just not enough pressure on them. The Fire Blast hook combo was attempted once from Drak Japar, and it almost hit, but almost hitting doesn't actually mean anything, so it missed. And this tri-lane, it's kind of keeping the Necrophos off the lane, but he still has 19 CS. It's pretty good right now, and Shacho is going against no heroes right now. Wern has 18 CS, but Shacho is pretty much a lone druid all alone on the mid lane, and even the bottom lane, Tidehunter is somehow outlaning the Viper because he has gone for the Tranquil Ring of Basilius build. He has a ton of armor. All 3 lanes are being won by Power Rangers, plus they have a jungler. This is an insane amount of lead that they're accruing for themselves.
One thing I would still like to see Cheshire Cat do is just pick up a TP, just in case. I mean, if you get Viper struck up, Kraken Shell might be enough to get you back to safety, although it's going to be extremely risky, so the safest way is just to TP out most of the time. So carrying a TP might be nice, but he's waiting for the Invis Rune mid lane though. Gank is coming, but under an Observer Ward Chashlo. If he gets caught by this, he's just not paying any attention at all. And Invis Rune, Cheshire Cat gonna come in. Drak, they don't know the Chashlo, he even may act as bait here.
Well, I think at this point, Drak Japar should know that the Lone Druid knows, but Power Rangers, they know that they have a Tidehunter here with Ravage. Hook is going to land into Shacho regardless, but the Ravage is there, and suddenly Ape Mother is going to get a lot of damage received to him, even more applied to himself. He will commit Sudoku, so that will be fine, as no one is going to really die in this lane. And it looks like that should be about it. Ravage used for just a suicide Pudge, although the bear looking for a little bit more is not going to land any untangles just yet. Very unlucky so far. This Lone Druid, Shacho, needs to practice a little bit more to get those RNG tangles, but it's no kills happening in the mid lane. Ravage pulled out, and that should have been a surprise gank for Power Rangers, but instead it results into nothing. So overall, Drak Japar have to be really happy with how that went.
Just Lone Druid not having that true form available to himself, and now Cheshire Cat might go down here. Ape Mother coming in, even Cat. There's no escape from this, just no way can he get out.
Slow burn on Rot and Poison, and then a hook just for good measure. Tidehunter goes down, and Drak Japar ultimately take the upper hand in that, and because they are so far behind in last hits, they really need to get a couple of kills on the board. That is only their first kill, but Power Rangers, I guess it is 1-for-1 right now, are still holding a slight lead. So this is what Pudge has to do. He has to be getting kills for his team, and he has to do it a lot earlier than he ordinarily has to, just because he is so far behind already, his team. Usually you wait to level 7-ish when you have your maxed out hook, but I don't think he's going to have the luxury this game.
Cat might be in trouble once again if Ape Mother comes a little bit closer, but daytime hits, so he gets enough vision to, I think, spot them out, although they might go try to intercept him at the Ancients, but they haven't found anything for a solid minute by now, so they have to get something accomplished just to make sure that their time hasn't been completely wasted.
Well, Cat has a Viper Strike, will deploy it onto Cheshire Cat now with maxed out Nether Toxin. This Tidehunter is going to be taking a ton of damage, lots of armor or not. Hook is going to land on Cheshire Cat, will actually pull him back into the healing, but it will be enough with the Rod to get the kill regardless. Hook not up for another 7, and Sneeko will be able to escape. It took a little bit of time, but they get a kill on the Tidehunter yet again, and that's a very much needed kill on these heroes for Drak. If they can keep this kind of a pressure up, they can start recovering, but I mean, still Shacho is getting absolute free farm. Still, the Enigma has been in the jungle. Now is going to go for a push up on top. As much as Drak are getting with these kills, Power Rangers getting a little bit more just by, PvEing the game.
It's just more heroes getting farmed pretty much, and their heroes are generally scarier in the late game as well. Pudge, yes, he's getting kills and exactly what he needs to be doing, but what's he gonna do like come 30 minutes into the game? Just hooking somebody out of position is the best thing he can do, but he's TPing top lane, and Hook does miss. J4 dodges it, but tower will get denied because of this Hook or Pudge TPing in. So it's something for Drak, but I think Power Rangers, they're just happy about getting that map control.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting enough gold in their last hits. Of course, you're never happy that the tower got denied, but they're already wealthy enough, and they're going to get another tower in the mid lane. Maybe this one's going to be denied as well. Fortification refresh because of the top lane destruction, and well, that's 2 now denies from Drak. 1 you're kind of okay with if you're Power Rangers. 2 that is starting to hurt a little bit because that's a lot of gold that you're never going to see again. And map control, as nice as it is certainly not going to compare to the effects of that additional gold from 2 towers that are denied.
Yeah, the second one definitely does start to hurt, and Chashlo, he's going for a Vladimir's offering as well by the looks of it, unless it's a Mask of Madness on that lone druid, which I highly doubt. So early on, it's not going to be bad, just get the extra armor, some damage as well. Spirit Bear going to be able to maybe try to keep himself alive. Mid lane Cheshire Cat has taken over, and well, Dichara, he got doomed in the meantime on the top lane. And that's going to be Hand of Midas for Vern, finished in about 50 gold as well. So Doombringer, he's number 1 in net worth and probably going to keep on climbing even further. So it's not going all that bad, Drak. Just, it could have been that much worse for them if they hadn't found all those skills that they have been so far. And Chashlo, he's just dropping so damn low to the Ancients, but he's going to be able to clean them up. Mech finished on J4 as well. Really waiting for Enigma to make his just first big move.
I think this is going to be Mask of Madness for Lone Druid. That is kind of the hot thing to do with Lone Druids nowadays. And yeah, he does pick up that item. Because the Spirit Bear now has inherent mana pool, he is able to use, what is it, Berserk, I think it's called? Yeah, Berserk. And yeah, I mean, 25 mana. He wasn't using the mana anyway. So Spirit Bear with a whole lot of additional attack speed now, and it will be a lot easier for Drak to focus that hero. If they hit it with multicast, suddenly Spirit Bear is almost dead. But, I mean, if he's on the offensive, he's going to get probably the most effective aggressive item you could possibly get for that price tag. So it's a nice pickup for him, and Drak, they're now going to be fighting up against a Lone Druid who has used his gold, as up till now he's been mostly just buying utility items.
Well, we'll see how well this Mask of Madness pair works out. Of course, it's not only attack speed, it's movement speed as well. Especially with the face boots. He's going to be more or less hasted at the time. Or maybe just completely hasted. Of course, the synergy isn't even maxed out, so they can get a little bit extra as well. Rabbit, gonna be skilled at some point. Cheshire Cat picks up a bounty rune and coming in with that Ravage. No blink yet, and considering how well the lane went for Tidehunter, it's a little bit surprising he doesn't have a blink yet, but Tranquil Boots, Bazzy, as well as just Bottle take up quite a lot of gold.
Yeah, and he's not too far away from it. The 2 tower denies certainly hurting his cause there, but now they're going to get a tower destruction, going to bring the tide up to 1300. If he had both towers killed instead of denied, then he would be so much closer to it. But with the Mask of Madness Bear, this is a Wrecking Ball build. I mean, you get the Demolish, so you have an extra 30%, 40% building damage, and Lone Druid, the Bear, already has the Phase Boots, so he's hitting pretty hard. This is going to be Drak forcing a defense right now. And, well, Cheshire Cat is circling around with a Ravage. He's going to spot out 8 Mother and hook on to Shacho, the wrong target for 8 Mother. Doom onto J4. Nice target for Wern, but now he's isolated all alone. Going to take a full effects of a Death Ward. Will be canceled by Handskin, but the Scythe will go onto Wern. Will not be lethal. Now a Ravage is going to be deployed already after the Pudge has died. Shacho's in the back end trying to TP out. He will make it out alive as Wern trying to regenerate a little bit more. He will get 1 kill, but that's not going to be enough. Cat off to the side is now going to be targeted focus because there's no more Jack Tapar heroes to die except for him. Handskin's right across the trees, but he can't get in range for anything. Will ignite. Cat's lasting for quite a long time, but he will go down in the end. And now it's going to be Handskin to be the target of focus. No mana on this Tidehunter. And J4 has a Malefice, has still a Black Hole. Handskin now in a corner is going to be just fine because here comes the Pudge once again. Looking for a hook onto Cheshire Cat, onto J4. Hook, 8 Mother, throw. No hooks at all. Okay, that you could do that too. It's just Power Rangers taking a 3-for-1 trade and losing the Necrophos, not the best, but still they're going to be pretty happy about how that went.
They definitely are, although I feel like it could have even gone a lot better. Ravage wasn't the best just because they couldn't get the best champion like Cheshire Cat. I'm not too sure if we didn't see 8 Mother there to begin with or what, but still 3-for-1, pretty excellent. Some chip damage onto the tier 2 as well. Power Rangers, their mech got denied to them for the longest of times, together with that Black Hole with the Doom coming out. Didn't even matter just because Voodoo Restoration kept them alive anyway, level 3. But Doom still is going to get closer to the Blink if the Blink is what it's going for. But that's usually the item build, just like Tranquil Boots, Midas into Blink. Pudge though has nothing at all. He's level 8 in this game. Looking at the graphs as well, about a 4k net per fleet for Power Rangers XP. 2.5, so not all that much. But nope, it's drums for Doom. So is he going for more of a combat Doom here?
Seems like he is. And well, this game Cat isn't going for the Battle Viper. It's gone for the mech, and then is most likely going to pick up Power Treads next, so someone has to do the damage. They're going to find J4. That's a nice little pick off for the Drak Tapar side, but they need someone to do the damage, and it's certainly not going to be the Pudge, because he just doesn't do damage. Then it's either Viper or the Doom, and, well, the commitment has already been there, so Battle Doom, it's pretty good. I mean, Doom is very, very tanky, but up against Necrophos is not really what you want. Oh, they're going to find Shacho, though. And he is in a pit with his bear and a whole bunch of agents. They can actually kill the bear first right now, but no, they're not going to do it. Make short work of the lone druid, and that's another 2 heals for Drak Tapar.
And Doom suddenly, he's quite a lot ahead of anybody else on the network. So he's getting a lot done, of course, with the Devour and Midas. You're kind of expected to get the farm. Midas, in the meantime, picked up on that Necrophos. And Viper might be going for another Maelstrom, or never mind, it's just going to be Power Threads, most likely finished up. Has the Belt of Strength already in the inventory as well. They also get the tier 1. Cheshire Cat wants to come in with his Blink Dagger, has the Ravage, but TPs are going out. 8 Mother Handscan hanging around. If they hang around for too long, Cheshire Cat might just catch them. They're gonna pincer them, I think. They're running towards the top side. Cheshire Cat, gosh, 8 Mother, Ravage, maybe. He's going for the Ravage. Will catch them both, just barely onto Handscan though. Will they have the follow-up? Nice hook from 8 Mother. He's gonna save Handscan at least. So he's gonna die. Can he maybe even deny himself back to the Death Ward? Reaper Scythe used, and, oh, 30 extra seconds, I guess.
That was still the best possible scenario for Drak Tapar. If the Pudge didn't do that, then it would have for sure been 2 heroes dead instead of just 1, so I guess cutting your losses. Unfortunately, he does get hit with the Scythe, so it's going to be a million years until he gets back up again, but while he is starting to come back, the top lane tower is going to be pressured at the same time. Roshan is going to be brought down, so it's a Roshan for tier 1 tower trade, not too uncommon. It's a tower destruction for the Viper, but Power Rangers with this Aegis, they won't have a Ravage, but they will have a Black Hole, and they could probably make something happen in about a minute. They don't have to wait for the Ravage, seeing as though Drak Tapar don't really have any huge damage dealers to interrupt. Regardless, it's now a double life on Necrophos, and he's already pretty hard to take down. With all the heals on their team, they have to go through it twice.
That's going to be hard indeed. So Necrophos gets to use his Hand of Midas once again as well. And even gets 1 stack of Sadist from that haste from Cheshire Cat. No Ravage unfortunately, but gonna be able to scout out things at least. Handscan. Do they really want to keep on going? Cheshire Cat. Haste rune is gonna wear off soon enough, and he doesn't have a Ravage, so might be a little bit suicidal here, especially Soneko not being there with the Witch Doctor. And they're not gonna follow up, just gonna make Drak back off. They did do about half the damage on the tower, but didn't get that usual Roshan for tier 2.
Yeah, so it's not the best trade for Drak, but they're still not doing too terribly. In fact, they're actually bringing this game back in quite a large margin. Even after such a bad laning phase, they're now only about 1,000, 2,000 behind in net worth. And for 17 minutes in, it's okay for Power Rangers to have that lead, but if they play and make one mistake here and there, then they're going to find themselves suddenly at a disadvantage. Now that there's a Blink Dagger on Doom, it's a lot easier for Jack Depart to make these fights happen, as previously it was Pudge Hook or nothing, or I mean I guess Power Rangers blinking in first, but a Blink Doom onto Necrophos, it's going to be probably the best way to start these fights. Not with the Aegis on the hero, but once that's down, then it'll be the best.
It most likely will. But of course, Lone Druid, he's also getting some items. Doesn't have the craziest of farm though. With the way the laning went for him early on, would have expected a little bit more. But he's going for a Maelstrom by the looks of it. Mask of Madness Maelstrom, gonna be lots of procs. There's the stun of Cheshire. He has the Ravage now as well. Ignite is there, stopping the Blink there of course for quite some time. Hookshot catches the Spirit Bear. Handscan, gonna be the only casualty most likely. No escape, Def Ward even used for that. Although, Blink, Cheshire pops the Ravage just to get Ape Mother. Almost got another TP cancelled as well, not quite. And well, they're gonna get the root. Ape Mother goes for the Dismember, of course, doesn't help out at all. So they do get 2 kills. They pop the Ravage, but perfectly fine. Maybe if they're fast enough, can use the Spirit Bear to press down a tier 2, although the lane isn't all that close to the tower. And especially since Shashlo also TP's bottom lane, but great engagement.
Yeah, it's still 2 kills for Power Rangers. It's about what you want to use your Ravage for at this stage in the game, to take 2 kills, although it was only on 1, so things could have gone a lot poorer for Power Rangers should the circumstances have been just slightly different, but hey, they took pretty much the perfect fight, and now they're going to not actually gain any towers. They're in fact going to lose a tower on bottom. It will be a tower deny, so Power Rangers getting a little bit of justice there. Spirit Bear going to take a Viper Strike, taking quite a bit of damage, but with no medallion or anything like that, this bear is going to live for a little while longer. In fact, going to turn around and try to kill off Cat. This is actually a trap because there are a lot of Drak Depart heroes here. They're going to initiate onto Drow with a Doom, and the bear is going to die first of all. Now to Slash, so they're going to go Cheshire Cat right into the middle of everything. Ditchy is being completely ignored, and I like this choice because of the Aegis. He's now going to lose that item. And Power Rangers, they're charging forward with a Black Hole Enigma, but everyone from Jack Japar are going to make their retreat. There is still a bear with Phase Booth Mask of Madness, going to catch up to Handskin, root him to the floor, and ensure that kill for Power Rangers. It's an Ogre Magi down. Now onto Cat. They're going to try to bring down this Viper, but hook out, and it looks like Viper will be just fine. Wern should be fine as well. Power Rangers they end up losing the bear, end up losing the Aegis, but I think for Jack Japar, it's once again the best case scenario for them. It's the Ogre Magi dying this time, but hey, it could have been so much worse if they killed off the Necrophos and stuck around.
It was pretty much the exact same kill as well. Malphite into Death Ward. Although I hovered over the Malphite at the time, and that range was nowhere near the Ogre Magi, yet he still managed to get it off. Of course, it really depends on like when you start casting it. It accounts like one extra step or where the Ogre Magi was when the cast animation started and everything. So it's a little bit weird that way, but sometimes the tooltip just ranges aren't enough. Ape Mother. He's gonna try to hook somebody in, but J4 he backs off in time. And Spirit Bear should be enough. Jeshagat blinks in aggressive as well. Ravage still on cooldown, but he gets the Spirit Bear, but they're not the target you want to get. Although if they get the kill on him, would be nice. Handscan gonna go down as Tichara most likely will lose his life as well. Sadist keeps him alive. Another Death Pulse. Nobody's coming in to save him. Jeshagat finally blinks in. A 2-for-1 anyway, plus a tier 2. They need something for Cat. Nope. Not gonna happen. Jeshagat, he's slowed down now. No TP on him. Vern not gonna blink forward. Oh, never mind. Now he is. Pops the drums as well, but everybody's escaped already.
The creeps were actually forming a solid wall that they couldn't run through without phase boost or something like that. So that wasn't the best case scenario for Jack Japar. They're going to try to charge forward and use this Doom to its best, but that's not going to happen. They end up losing another hero to the Reaper's Scythe in this game and ending up using a Black Hole just for the Pudge. Not ideal for sure for Power Rangers, but they get that kill and they don't lose that much aside from the Necrophos. The bear was able to escape even after being initiated upon, and Pudge, it's very hard to actually get hooks in this game because you don't really want to be hooking in a Tidehunter. That's a bad idea. You don't want to be hooking in the Lone Druid or his bear, and those are going to be on the front lines. If you could somehow sneak the hook in for Witch Doctor, that'll be ideal, but that's just such a tall order for a Pudge that doesn't have a Force Staff or a Blink Dagger. So Ape Mother, he's doing his best for sure, but this Pudge is certainly not the same amount of dominance that we saw in the last game, just because it's 22 minutes, and by last game, I think he had Blink Dagger, Force Staff. Now he doesn't even have a single part of either of those items.
It really didn't go as well, and of course, their laning decision, and then as it went badly, then swapping out, and will pretty much continue to go bad for them. Definitely didn't help out at all. At least Aghanim Scepter is down on the Viper, and it's one of the best things probably for Drak that they can do against the Spirit Bear, just continuously Viper strike him up. But funny enough, Power Rangers, Necrophos is by far the squishiest hero for them. Man, if he puts the power trace on strength, gonna be a little bit tankier, but this Witch Doctor, he is only about 450 gold away from the Aghanim Scepter. As Hansken wants to go in with a Fire Blast, maybe Ape Mother, can he hook something? Charge Claw might be there. Spirit Prayer came in the right trajectory there as well. Although Ape Mother, he's still trying to angle for it. Bloodlust it up as well. Do we have a Ravage? We do. Not enough mana quite yet. Tidehunter bottling up furiously in the base. And Spirit Breaker with that range creep, gonna go scout things out.
That's a little bit unfortunate for Drak. They're going to land the hook regardless onto Shacho, even after knowing he's there. But immediately, Shacho is going to get disengaged. And now a Ravage connected onto everyone with the Death Ward. Drak right in the middle is instantly going to be 3 heroes down, 4 heroes down for Drak. They did not stand a chance there. Cat is going to survive, albeit barely. But man, that hook onto the Lone Druid. Maybe it was a bait. Maybe he just didn't expect to be hooked. But regardless, Treasure Cat there with a Ravage, and the Necrophos getting into the middle of the fray as well, landing a Death Pulse onto those same 4 that were hit the Ravage. Easy cleanup, an easy fight for Power Rangers.
Yeah, the Midnight Pulse was under all of them as well, which is maxed out by now. Death Ward to follow. It doesn't bounce quite yet, but will soon enough, as he has enough gold to finish up the Aghanims. That fight, oh my god, that Ravage is beautiful, and that is exactly why Tidehunter is first picked. It's just so hard to fight against that. Once he gets the Blink Dagger, he's almost guaranteed gonna hit like 3 heroes every single time if you want to fight like that. Especially if you have heroes that need to be close, like the Doom, Ogre, as well as even the Pudge.
And though it was initiation on Drak side, it was Pudge calling the first shot in that hook. It's not the correct initiation right now. They need a Blink Doom onto someone like a Tidehunter or a Necrophos if they're going to take those fights. Anything else is not going to be good enough to start a large-scale fight, just because, well, Power Rangers, pretty much all the heroes are durable enough to withstand that hook, because there's going to be backup coming very swiftly. And oh no, Cat. Well, Death Ward is going to be placed, and it will do literally nothing. But that's fine, because they got the kill anyway. Shacho's now wielding a mega kill, and Viper is the best kill, or one of the best kills that Power Rangers could take right now. There is still 2 tier 2 towers left for the Power Ranger side, and this bear, with the workings of a Mjolnir, should be able to very quickly bring it down.
Oh, he can purchase up the Mjolnir now if he wants to. Maybe it's just an AC and a casual Maelstrom for now. AC definitely wouldn't be bad. Just speed up your pushing speed. You don't need extra armor against Drak though, although minus armor will be decentish. Just help the Death Ward do more damage as well as prepare himself. But all in all, looking at the net worth now, Lone Druid has overtaken a Doombringer who was number 1 for quite some time with a Midas and Doom. Or not Doom, Devour. And if you're overtaking a Doombringer who has those items and from a early stage as well, you know things are just going so good for you.
Yeah, and Lone Druid is a hero that you really don't want to be facing up against with a lot of farm. Doom, though he may have just as much farm as a Lone Druid, I think Lone Druid is just a little bit more scary just because of mechanically how he works. So, I mean, even though the Doom is not too far behind, he is still vulnerable to being scythed down, and Necrophos is only 200 gold away from completing the Aghanim Scepter upgrade. So, though it's not level 16 Scythe just yet, it will soon be level 16, and it soon will be Aghanimed up as well. Devastating. It already has been devastating, and it's going to only be more so. And Power Rangers, Roshan's going to be responding in 50 seconds. It was a very long Roshan timer, but the Lone Druid, I'm pretty sure at this point, can do it by himself.
He most likely could as well, especially if he finishes up whatever item he wants to go for next. So never mind, just did so. So AC finished, gonna make Roshan a lot easier for him. Although, one thing I just meant to ask you the entire game, on a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rate this Lone Druid set?
The red panda looks awesome, the main bear looks like shit. Looks
Yeah,
like a bulldog.
I have to agree, just main panda, 10-10. Lone Druid itself, just -10. I don't know.
Like, what's with his mouth? And he looks just like so poorly
It's like
proportioned.
a
I don't know.
baboonish. Oh, Doom onto J4, but he stays alive. Might tick. Never mind, it's not even going to tick down. Voodoo Restoration comes out as well. Shashlo, can he get those entangling claws? No, blink out first. Ichiro gets multicasted as well. He's gonna get doomed up. Never mind, it was already used on J4. My bad. J4 comes back in. Midnight Pulse, Death Ward, bouncing out nicely. There's a black hole, catches 2. That's gonna be 4 heroes down as Vern. He's on the run, can probably blink out unless that happens. So 5-4-0, and they were the ones jumping in Enigma.
And this is no Ravage used. Like, Power Rangers just owned that fight without using their big ultimates, except for the black hole, which landed on 2. But I'm pretty sure those 2 heroes would have died regardless. It just would have taken a little bit more time to chase them down with the bear. Drak, they have 4 buybacks right now. I don't think they're going to have to use them on any, but this Spirit Bear with the Assault Cuirass finished is going to be hitting like a truck. And he's going to be hitting like a truck very quickly, and that's a dangerous combination. Drak, they don't even have a Doom right now. They used all of their stuff, whereas Power Rangers didn't. That's tier 3 tower, dropped in an instant, now onto the Thraxes. And what can Hanskin do about this? Pretty much nothing. Look at the build from Ogre Magi, by the way. Super tanky.
Well, he's sitting on 22 armor, so got to hand it to him. Even AC doesn't really phase him that much, I guess, but it's... I mean, I think he himself knows that there's not too much chance for them of winning at the moment. Just because this build, it's not looking into the future, it's just... I'm gonna handle like maybe the next couple of minutes or just be able to survive a little bit more, but no Aghanim's means no extra damage output, nothing like that, no force that will help people out, no mobility. It's really just kind of a selfish survivability build, maybe even.
He doesn't even have a Ring of Basilius. Like, come on, man. There's 2 items that Ring of Protection builds into, and you don't even have one of them. That's just lazy. Oh, Lone Druid Bear going to be spotting everyone out, but then he gets jumped back very easily, recalled. Or is it recalled? Returned. That's a boring skill name. But Power Rangers gonna clean up the Roshan very easily. Once again, double life on the Necrophos this time. Level 3 Scythe with an Aghanim's upgrade. Still very still very soft. We saw that in the last fight. He was very close to death. And if Power Rangers weren't there, then the rest of the Power Rangers weren't there, then Dichira would have for sure gone down. But I mean, this Necrophos with the Aegis, he's completely fine now taking a Doom just because he will just try to do what he can until he dies. And then once he does die, that's game time for him. And I don't really think that Drak have enough damage to kill off everyone else and then focus Dichira once he pops back up. They just don't have enough damage for that. So, I don't know. Maybe they could buy themselves a little bit of time if they get a nice hook, and it's going to be thrown, which will reveal his position. Jump in from the Doombringer. Now, Cheshire Cat, no Ravage available, but it's going to be Wern taking quite a bit of damage, and still, no, there's no Black Hole, actually. J4 is going to take a 2x multicast. 8 Mother looking for another hook onto Cheshire Cat. Will land this one, but it's not going to be followed up upon. The stomp from Wern, and Power Rangers getting chipped away, but now the Bear's onto Seal Kid. Scythe onto Cat Cat's going to bring him down. Ravage and Death Ward, both of which literally hitting nobody, but doesn't even matter. They have Hanskin in the corner. He's dead for sure. 8 Mother's going to get another hook onto Cheshire Cat. That's not going to be relevant. And Wern is going to run into Slotch, so he's going to try to blink out. No, not in time. Gets entangled. And now he's just going to get beaten down by the Bear, unless Sick jukes another hook. Are they really going to escape from this one? I think Wern, yes, he can blink out, but he blinks over the... Where is he going? Wern just wants to farm. Drak know this is over. I mean, they're just messing around at this point.
Yeah, Ape Mother even hasted ran into 3 heroes as well, and even the haste couldn't get him out. There's the entangling close. Wern gonna lose his life. So Power Rangers, after a pretty crazy series, but this game was extremely convincing, to be honest. Just the laning and the Podge last pick. It wasn't that surprising this game, and the laning choice just not the best either. So Power Rangers, they advance to face Pulo in the winner bracket round 2. Don't know exactly when it's going to be played out quite yet. Teams are going to have to make sure their scheduling is going to be perfect for this. But thank you guys so much for coming in, watching us cast these 2 games, the 2 series. This one as well as the one before, VP Polar versus Lions. So 2 teams advance, Power Rangers and VP Polar. The others drop down to a lower bracket, so not out of the tournament either. But it's gonna be it for us for the day. We're gonna be back tomorrow at, I do believe, 16 CET with Moscow 5 International versus Commander Minus, and at 20 Moscow 5 versus Denial. So more great games to come, guys. If you enjoyed the cast, be sure to follow HeflaTV as well for more updates for our coverage. It's HeflaTV everywhere. The links are below the stream. For the casters, at Coucher for me, at Mike Loris for my co-caster, and any last words?
Not really. It's kind of upsetting to see Pudge lose a game, because he could have just ended the game with 100%, end the day with 100% win rate, but that's just what happens when you pick up a Pudge.
He could have ended it if they hadn't picked the Pudge.
What?
If they hadn't picked the Pudge, then the game 3, it would have been 100% win, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you gotta end with the good records. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, so guys, this is gonna be it. So see you tomorrow at 16 CET for Moscow 5 International versus Commander Minus. And just a few songs to finish up the stream, and have a good one.